Hi, everybody. This is Leo. I am one of the admins for the Creating Transformational Destination Retreats, and I also am one of the coaches and retreat strategists for Wanderlust Entrepreneur, and our coaches are working for Sherry Rosenthal with our clients in our Retreat Blueprint and Retreats Made Easy and our Marketing Mastery classes. So what I'm here to do today is to clear up a question that came up in this group last week. It was a really good question, brought up a lot of good discussion on what to do in a situation where you have taken registrations for a retreat, you were unable to fill the retreat, then you had to cancel the retreat, but some of your registrants had already purchased airfare. And you now cancel the retreat and they're out the money for the airfare that they've purchased. And in this particular case, a woman had to reimburse the people their flights because she had no policies and no notifications and no procedures in place to avoid this kind of situation. So there's a lot of good discussion about the different things you need to do and not do. And basically the short answer is you need to make sure that your folks know in your documentation for registering that they do not purchase their travel flights and book anything else until you know that the retreat is 100% a go. But it also brought up a question because a lot of the people were responding, well, you should have your registrants buy travel insurance. That is not going to work. And the reason that isn't going to work is travel insurance only covers very specific situations for cancellation of travel. And the person holding a retreat canceling the trip is not one of the covered reasons. So even if those folks had travel insurance, they would not have been able to use it and not have been able to get reimbursed for it. So it's really important to know, and I think a lot of people really haven't checked this out, what travel insurance does and does not cover. So I'm going to cover that just briefly here for general purposes. So travel insurance has usually several components. It has trip cancellation. It has emergency medical coverage. You may have emergency medical evacuation coverage, delay and travel interruption reimbursements, lost baggage reimbursement, and a bunch of other smaller minor things do it. But the major components are usually trip cancellation and medical emergencies. So as far as trip cancellation is concerned, it only kicks in for very specific reasons that are stated in the policy. And every insurance company has a slightly different policy. So you always want to read the fine print. If you go online and you look for different travel companies or insurance companies that sell travel insurance, you'll find a dozen. And they all have similar policies, but varying levels of coverage for price. And you can get quotes online and check the policies out and do that all research yourself. But shop around because they all do different things. And some of them have more coverage for the medical, more coverage for the evacuation, better terms for the trip cancellation. So check all those out and you'll find the one that maybe you has the best balance for your needs. But what they typically cover for trip cancellation majorly is if you or someone close to your immediate family gets ill or sick. B, if there's a death in the close or immediate family. C, if there's a natural unforeseen disaster and maybe your destination or where you're leaving from that you can't go. And it has to be unforeseen. If it's something that's known about before you book the trip and then it actually happens that you don't go, they won't cover it. Those are the major ones that they cover. And if you're a retreat leader and you have to cancel a retreat, it's not a covered issue. Think about it as well. Maybe everything is going fine. You filled that retreat, but you get sick. You get ill. Something happens in your family. You can't go. None of those people are covered for their travel reimbursement expenses. So think about that as a backup plan. Anyway, so do your due diligence. Check the policies. Check what's covered. Know what's going to work in a situation. Know what's not. But don't use travel insurance as a way to do that. Again, the short answer for this situation where you have someone who you have to cancel the retreat is to make sure your folks know and you have it documented in the registration thing, not to buy their travel until you give them 100% go ahead. As far as losing money on retreats and not having your retreats go, there's a number of ways that you can lose money on a retreat if you don't know what you're doing, you don't plan accordingly. Not only do you have people with their travel booked, you have your travel booked, but you're probably, if you have to cancel the retreat, you're going to lose your deposits for your venue in almost 90% of the cases, and that's a big expense out of your pocket. So what we do in our Retreat Blueprint course, in our Retreats Made Easy course, is we have specific strategies, policies, documentation. They give you a specific timeline of how you need to do everything so that you, to the best of the ability you can, protect yourself from any last minute changes. Travel has its ups and downs, it's changing situations. So we don't want folks to lose money because of that. You can avoid almost all of that with the right planning and knowing do it. The one thing that makes us cringe to hear is a lot of people tell us is that, I'm going to do my first retreat and learn on that one, and then maybe I'll take the course when I'm ready. And it just makes us cringe because you could so easily lose money on that trip that would have more than paid for itself, and you would have guaranteed that you would have made money on your trip. You would guarantee that the people are going to have a great experience with you and be repeat customers of yours, and it's just not worth it. So insure yourself, think about getting educated, and remember, you're responsible for your whole group of people in multiple ways when you take on this role as a retreat leader, and you want to do the best job you can possible. So, hey, thanks for listening. Hope you found this helpful, and we'll see you again here sometime soon, I hope.